In our Sunrise Smart Start on this Friday, Rochester police are continuing to investigate multiple fatal shootings as the city marks its deadliest year on record. 71 homicides now recorded in 2021, with 3 more victims yesterday alone. The most recent incident took place on St. Paul Street. Police say a man in his 20s was beaten and shot to death outside the RTS station. Investigators tell us 2 suspects approached that victim around 1 in the afternoon. The suspects, also believed to be in their 20s. No arrests have been made. Police say this violence cannot end until the community comes together.
We're extremely frustrated. It has to stop. I mean, it's worse than a war zone around here lately. And, we want the community to stand up, stand beside us, and the community has to get fed up with this, and the way they can do that, or one of the ways they can do that, is continue to feed us information, and if they know some of their family members, or if they see somebody with a gun or something like that, you need to call 911. You need to get ahead of it, because today it's the young man that was hanging out in front of the bus station gets killed. Tomorrow it could be one of your family members.
No suspects are in custody after a double homicide early yesterday morning on Chestnut Street in the city. Police say the victims were men in their late teens and early 20s. Officers responded around 3 a.m. after several reports of gunshots inside the apartment building. The victims were pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators do not believe this was a random act of violence. And a man fighting for his life this morning after a separate shooting last night in Rochester. Officers responded to Fernwood Park around 7:30 and did find evidence someone had been shot there. Shortly thereafter, a gunshot victim did arrive at the hospital in a private vehicle. We're told the 20-year-old man was shot in the upper body, and officers say his injuries are life-threatening. Anyone with information about this shooting or yesterday's homicides should call 911. Mayor-elect Malik Evans responding to Thursday's homicides and the rise in violence, saying, quote, "Violence in our city has become an all too common occurrence. We are in a state of emergency, and we must have a whole community approach to solve the issue. As part of my transition, we will be pulling together all who are willing to help tackle the scourge of violence in our community. The government cannot and will not solve this problem alone." For more reaction from local officials and activists, head to rochesterfirst.com. To Washington now, the White House announcing new efforts to support veterans exposed to toxic burn pits during their time in the military. We are joined by Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor, live in D.C. this morning. Jesse, good morning. So what types of services will be offered to those who have been exposed to these toxic chemicals? And it appears we are having trouble with Jesse's signal in Washington. Burn pits were used to incinerate all sorts of waste, hazardous materials, and chemical compounds at military sites throughout Iraq and Afghanistan. We'll have more on the White House announcement coming up later today on News 8. Well, the defense in the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial calling more witnesses to the stand just 1 day after their client testified. Rittenhouse says he killed 2 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin in self-defense during a protest last summer after the death of Jacob Blake. Yesterday, a use of force expert was asked to analyze footage from the deadly encounters.
Based upon your analysis of the video and sound analysis, what occurred first, the kick to the face by jump kick man to my client, or the first gunshot?
The kick to the face occurred prior to the gunshot.
Well, Rittenhouse facing up to life in prison if he is convicted. The judge says closing arguments could begin early next week. Another person has died in connection to last weekend's Astro World Music Festival in Houston, bringing the death toll in Texas to 9 people. The FBI has joined that criminal investigation into the concert deaths. According to witnesses, the victims were crushed when the crowd of some 50,000 people surged toward the stage as Travis Scott performed. Several lawsuits have been filed against the rapper. Well, a court in military-ruled Myanmar has jailed American journalist Danny Fenster for 11 years, according to Fenster's attorney. He is the managing editor of the online magazine Frontier Myanmar. He was arrested while trying to leave the country back in May and has been imprisoned ever since. The U.S. has been pushing for Fenster's release. Turning our attention to the forecast on this Friday morning, we had rain earlier. It is starting to move out at this hour, and temperatures are agreeable as well, James.
Not too bad there outside, Mark, for a little bit of a walk forecast here. If you don't want to walk in the rain, I don't blame you. Just wait 15 minutes. It should be moving out of your area. Depending on your location, if you're in very eastern Wayne County, then yeah, you might have to wait a little bit longer, hanging out maybe in Fairhaven. It'll be probably another hour till you see the end of the rain. But if you're in Genesee County and the rain has ended already, you're good. You're in good shape. In fact, the sun will come out in just a few moments as we have that quick clearing. Next 24 hours, we do see temperatures hold steady in the 50s and drop into the 40s overnight. Weekend forecast coming up at the end of the show. Mark?
All right, James, thank you. To the roads with our sunrise traffic. One accident on North Greece Road and Ridge Road in Greece. Another on South Plymouth Avenue and Cottage Street in Rochester. Live look over the thruway. It's starting to brighten up out there. No troubles reported. New this morning, a Webster man is in the hospital after police say he was shot during an attempted robbery in Rochester. Officers responded to Country Manor Way in Webster around 1:30. They say the 38-year-old victim was shot on Upper Falls Boulevard in Rochester. No update on the severity of those injuries. Well, an arrest has been made after a bank robbery in Rochester. Police say 33-year-old Jason Schaefer was arrested after a robbery at the Canandaigua National Bank on Alexander Street. During the investigation, officers discovered Schaefer was driving a stolen car. He was taken into custody in Brighton and is facing robbery and grand larceny charges. Schaefer is due in court later this morning. Happening today as well, Kirk Ashton, the former Hilton Elementary School principal accused of sexually abusing students, is due back in court. He is charged with multiple counts of sexual abuse against minors from 2nd to 5th grade. Ashton was released from jail last month after posting bail. Multiple families in the school district have filed separate lawsuits against both Ashton and Hilton schools. Ashton pleaded not guilty to the charges back in April. Well, supply chain issues continuing across the globe. Locally, paper shortages are affecting some companies. Carmela Boykin live this morning with how less paper is costing more time and more money for companies. Carmela, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. When Canfield and Tack fulfill orders for clients, it usually takes them a few minutes to order paper. But now that process is taking up to a few hours to find the right materials. This has impacted both clients and the workflow within the printing warehouse. Many of the clients are having to adapt their original ideas for projects to fit what type of paper is in stock as well. President and CEO Ray Brown says the company is seeing rarest price increases from suppliers too.
I don't remember any time in the 30 years I've been in the business that we've had paper price increases as much as we have. We've had 4 or 5 of them just in the past 8 or 9 months, so that's been very unusual. And then the supply problem, never seen anything like it before, unprecedented, really.
And Brown says consumers may not notice a big difference, but if they have larger printing projects, they may have to adapt from their original ideas. In Henrietta, Carmela Boykin, News 8. Mark?
Carmela, thank you so much. Larger companies also facing labor shortages to help transport products as well. To the latest on COVID-19 this morning, Ellume is recalling millions of its at-home COVID-19 tests due to the potential of false positives. The FDA classified that recall as a Class 1 recall. That is the most serious type. 2 million of the at-home tests were recalled for the potential of false positive results due to a manufacturing issue. We're told the FDA is working with the company to assess corrective actions. All right, here's what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. The Buffalo Bills looking to get back on track at the Meadowlands this weekend as they take on the Jets. Be sure to tune in to Buffalo Kickoff Live at 11 a.m. Sunday for all the latest news and updates before kickoff, and then kickoff itself at 1 o'clock. And you'll soon see this one right here on Channel 8 WROC. The Bills trying to put memories of Jacksonville in the rearview mirror as they get ready for a divisional opponent. Hey, a winning Take 5 ticket has been sold in Geneva. Word this morning, it's worth $42,000. It was sold at the Castle Road Mini Mart. And the winning numbers, nice. 1, 20, 22, 30, 32. Check your tickets. Somebody is going to have a pretty good Friday. Nice. That's perfect. Yeah. Great. Hopefully the Bills can pull off the win and then make the weekend all smooth. That's right. They're still favored by a lot. Yeah, back on track, I think, is the phrase we'll go with, right? Yeah, I mean, let's get back on track. You put Jacksonville and the Jets kind of on the same, skill level. Yeah. And then you put Buffalo up here. Don't make that mistake twice. I'm just, I'm sure they'll button up the problems. Yeah, they've had a week. They've had a week to work on it. You've had a week to fine-tune the forecast. How are we doing here on this Friday? I think we'll do great. So where we are now is likely where we'll be with the afternoon in terms of temperatures, but the sunshine we will really enjoy as we get late in the day. Weekend forecast, here it is. Both Saturday and Sunday feature rain and snow showers. Saturday dry by the evening. That carries into Sunday morning. Next storm system comes into Sunday, overnight, and Monday. Next week, it's going to be a lot of fun, Mark. All right, we'll deal with that then. That's it for us now. Our next update in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.